Donald Trump has been warned that Republican resistance to ending government spending restraints could scupper his mass deportation plans. The majority of Republicans defied the president-elect on Friday evening to support a funding bill that would keep the government running until March without suspending the federal debt limit. Mr. Trump has sought to halt the cap to give himself scope to embark on ambitious spending schemes when he enters the White House next year, while avoiding a draining congressional fight to adjust it. But fiscal conservatives in his party are concerned about the trillions in debt that the U.S. has accumulated, which means it is now spending more on interest payments than its defense budget. The rebellion casts doubt on whether Mr. Trump will be able to fulfill his election campaign promises, which included the largest deportation program in U.S. history with no price tag and a range of tax cuts. Mark Short, the president-elect's former legislative affairs director, warned that the last 24 hours does not portend well for his proposed border and tax policies. On Wednesday, Mr. Trump came out against a bipartisan government funding deal that was negotiated by Mike Johnson, the House of Representatives Speaker. He effectively killed the bill by declaring it ridiculous and extraordinarily expensive, as he demanded that Republicans support plans to suspend the U.S. borrowing limit. Anything other than a temporary funding bill without Democrat giveaways combined with an increase in the debt ceiling is a betrayal of our county, he declared in a statement on his Truth Social platform. However, a proposal to suspend the debt limit for 2 years failed spectacularly on the House floor on Thursday, when 38 Republicans joined the Democrats to vote against it. Hours before the deadline on Saturday morning, Congress finally passed a deal that would keep the government funded until March without lifting the debt ceiling. Precisely what Mr. Trump had railed against. Areas of the federal government would have run out of money almost immediately without the bill, furloughing thousands of workers and stalling non-essential government programs. Mr. Trump had previously said that if there is going to be a shutdown of government, let it begin now, under the Biden administration, not after January 20th under Trump. It raises questions about the extent to which Mr. Trump can control his party, even while riding the high of an election that saw him win the popular and electoral college vote over Kamala Harris, and the Republicans take both houses of Congress. Some have suggested that opposition from fiscal conservatives concerned about ballooning debt and interest payments will block the president-elect from implementing his ambitious policy agenda. Rich McCormick, a Republican congressman from Georgia, said he understood Mr. Trump's concern that a debt ceiling fight will delay the implementation of his agenda. But to make America great again, we have to end business as usual in Washington, right here, right now, he wrote on social media. A figure close to Mr. Trump told Politico that they feared he was becoming distracted by the wrong fights and compared his attempt to suspend the debt ceiling to his failed bids to kill Obamacare, the health insurance reforms, during his first term. Eric Burleson, a Missouri congressman, told CNN that he had promised his constituents he would not vote to raise the borrowing limit. "I love Donald Trump, but he didn't vote me into office. My district did," he said. No price tag on Trump agenda. Days after his election victory, Mr. Trump said that there would be no price tag on his plans for mass deportations, which will probably involve constructing tens of thousands of detention centers. 7. What happens if we go and murder people? Then I finish the paragraph. If we go and murder people, I want to see a photo. Okay, can't you say it was a Donald Trump invitation, not knowing the cabinet ministers ahead of time? Then he came back and said, he didn't vote me into office, my district did. No price tag on Trump agenda. Mass deportations which will probably involve constructing tens of thousands of detention centers. A report from the American Immigration Council, a pro-immigration group, estimated that deporting 1 million migrants a year would cost at least $88 billion. Mr. Trump also pledged to renew the tax cuts he introduced in 2017 at a cost of around $4 trillion and remove taxes from tips, overtime, and Social Security. In a further headache for the incoming president, Republicans only succeeded in winning a razor-thin majority in the House, with 220 to 215, which will shrink even further since 3 members were offered jobs in his administration. It was in June last year that Congress agreed to halt the U.S.'s $31.4 trillion debt limit until January 1, 2025. The final funding bill removed more than 1,000 pages of policy when Mr. Trump and Elon Musk, his close ally and Tesla billionaire, came out against the deal. Among the scrapped measures were restrictions on U.S. investments in China, policy aimed at lowering prescription drug prices, and rules clamping down on deceptive advertising of tickets for events, according to Politico. Congressional Democrats largely supported the final package, but complained about how Mr. Trump and Mr. Musk had pressured Republicans into backtracking on their original deal. Chris Murphy, the Connecticut senator, said, "It feels to me there were a lot of things that were not great for billionaires and corporations that dropped out of this bill, and I don't think that's a coincidence."